paid good money to see this movie. When they go out to a theater, they want cold sodas, hot popcorn, and no monsters in the projection booth.
Everyone pretend podcasting isn't boring.
Turn it off. Turn it off.
Faster Pussycat, I could never get tired of watching it.
Tura was a leader, and she was sexy, and she was in control.
She was out there kicking some butt and looking great.
She's the strongest character in this film.
She was a radical warrior feminist.
Good. Let's get started.
Tura was scary, and people thought, whoa, who is this? She was a good actress, and she was good at being a cult movie star.
Oh, what a woman. She wore the black gloves. I loved it. She was a fantastic feminist role model. She was the one in control.
The fact that she's an Asian American woman that was able to get in the pictures and even do what she did is inconceivably significant.
It's such an incredible story. She's a real thing.
Hey folks, welcome to a special episode of The Projection Booth. On this episode, I am talking with Cody, Jarrett, and Siouxzan Perry. They are the co-producers, and Mr. Jarrett is the writer and director of the new documentary Tura. It is a doc all about Tura Satana, and I'm sure if you're listening to this episode, you probably know who the heck Tura is. If you don't, she was an amazing actress, dancer, entertainer, and she is mostly known for her incredible role in Russ Meyer's Faster Pussycat Kill Kill. If you need to know more about that movie, check out our episode on that. But you really need to see Faster Pussycat, and you really need to see this doc as well. Thanks so much for listening, and I hope you enjoy this interview.
Cody, I can't tell you how excited I am to talk with you because I am such a huge fan of The Adventures of Ford Fairlight.
Oh my God, thank you. And wow, a lot of that's been coming up lately for some reason, but no complaints about that. It was an amazing experience.
I want to know, how do you two know each other?
I used to manage all the Russ Meyer women and men, and I got an email from Cody about wanting to use Erica in his next feature, which was Sugarbox, Erica Gavin. And I said, so he sent me the script, and I read the script, and then I said, I'm not sure if she's going to be able to do this one, but I said, why don't you come over to my house? I had all the Russ Meyer women in my house, and I had a big party, and Cody came. I said, okay, take your pick. Just pick somebody. And he chose Tura and Kitten, and that was it. And boom, and here we are. How many years later? That's pretty much the simple part.
What's the complicated part? Is that how the documentary comes about?
Kind of, yeah.
Obviously, I cultivated a relationship with Tura and Siouxzan at that point, and I was a big supporter of Sugarbox. She came to the premiere and was outrageously fun and everything. So we became pals, and I knew Tura's daughters as a result of me being positioned there when it was time for the documentary to happen.
I started on that back in 2000 with Tura, talking about she wanted to have a movie made. She wanted to have a movie made of her life. And then working with Cody, it was just a simple choice. I said, you have to come in this with us. You have to. And that worked. Tura adored Cody. I adored Cody. Not so much now. Kidding. But no.
Man, he just ripping on me today.
I know. I don't know why. It just felt fun. He's like my little brother that I never had. But so it worked. I mean, the combination worked. We did some shows together in San Francisco with Cody and Tura. It was just obvious that he should be in this pie.
Cody, I know you've done a lot of films before. You mentioned Sugarbox, and Frog, I believe, was another one. But had you directed a documentary at this point?
I had not done a documentary before. It had all been narratives. The only thing that was even close was I did a 10-minute sports promo documentary for MMA fighter Misha Tate way back in the day. But this was my first doc.
Some people compare making a movie to almost winning a war or being in a battle. How do you come up with your battle plan? How do you work to say, okay, this is how we're going to make this movie?
When I first started the documentaries, one of my film attorneys actually gave me great advice. He said, documentaries are crafted in the editing room. So you might have one idea with where you're going to go with this, but then it might end up somewhere totally different. And he was right. Tura had an unpublished memoir. It's never been properly edited. Parts of it are like a 30-page run-on sentence. It's very stream of consciousness. It's everything she was thinking just flowed out. We did have that to work from. And the whole point of the film was just because we were the insiders, right? Like I knew Tura's family. I'd worked with Tura. And because of Siouxzan and Tura's daughters, I had access to all of Tura's stuff. The point from the beginning was to not take the outsider's perspective, but to flip it around, to flip the script completely and put the viewer right in the front seat along with Tura so that they could experience everything that Tura experienced and share in the feelings that she felt as this crazy life of hers unfolded. It took a long time to get it to that point because, again, had we been outsiders, it would have been like, oh, this was Tura Satana. She did the Astro Zombies. She did Faster Pussycat Kill Kill, and she did all these other things. But we had the opportunity to express Tura's innermost feelings and how all of this stuff affected her. And it took time to get there. It's like, I'm a huge fan of Robert Evans, when he talks about like, you have a chance to grab the brass ring, you have to do it. So this was our brass ring. No matter how long it took or how hard it was, you had to stick with it until we got there. We did the best job we could with that.
Susan, going back a little bit, how did you become a representative for all of the Meyer women?
Beyond the Valley of the Dolls was my absolute favorite film that he made. And I thought, why don't more people know about this? Why isn't it on DVD? And I just started gathering all the cast members. I first met Cynthia Myers and started working with her and ended up being a photographer. I started doing shots of her for a second round of her posing Playboy stuff. And then we just started finding everybody from the cast. And when we did, I started taking them out on tours on the road. And our chant was BVD on DVD. Finally, I got the call from Fox. They wanted to bring it in-house and produce it into a double DVD. And that was it. I got the cast paid. I got to direct some of it. I got to write some of the stuff, but I coordinated everything. And it was, after that, we took it on the road and did more with it, and it just kept touring. So that's kind of how I met Tura as well. I met her at a show I was doing, and we clicked, and that was in 2000. She just called me up the next day and said, I made up my mind you're going to be my manager. If you don't say no, I just, okay. And then that was it.
And you said that she had been talking about a documentary since 2000. So when does this project actually come to what you would consider like these are the first steps?
I think right before she died, because she died in 2011, and she was already pushing us to do something.
So I can't speak to the time before I knew Tura, which was, I knew her from 2006 on, 2005 on. But the sentiment was already there. For sure. And some things happened where it got sidetracked for a little while. And then she passed away, unfortunately. It never really happened while she was alive. But I'll tell you, like, as soon as it did come together, which was not that long after she passed away, it's like you could feel the planets align. Like the energy was just so powerful. It is just like they snapped together. And the first people we reached out to were John, Dita, and Margaret. And all of them were an immediate yes. So we just knew, yes, we are totally on the right path. We could just feel it.
How did the documentary change and get shaped as you went along? Because you talked about the importance of the editing room, but how does that kind of morph as you go along?
As you know of Tura, her life is extremely complex. There are parts of it we will never know anything about, but it is like an onion with so many layers. Where what we just talked about comes in, I would be working on something, and then we'd learn something else about her life. And it's like, oh, wait a minute. So that means we have to change these other things to sort of make this fit. And then we'd learn something else, and it's like, oh, wait a minute. That means that doesn't work, so we got to change this. So that happened a little bit, and it was frustrating for sure. Then the pandemic hit, and sort of everything shut down. But we used that time, best when we went out to the Mojave Desert and got the aerial shots of by the Pussycat Ranch and stuff. But also, it kind of occurred to me during then, it's like, you know what? It doesn't matter if something happened in December of 56 or January of 57. This film is not about that. This film is about Tura's feelings and Tura's emotions and her recounting of that. So at that point, we switched a lot of the narration, which had been about Tura. It was during that period where we switched it to first person, to Tura's words. And so that big shift happened during the pandemic. Yeah, and that made all the difference in the world. It really did.
It was so nice seeing so many people, and especially so many people that have passed on, just to hear their words and to see them on screen. That must have been quite a challenge, just to make sure that you're capturing everybody before they unfortunately passed on.
We did lose a lot of people during the course of this film, unfortunately. I didn't go into any of the interviews having any predisposition that someone was not going to be with us anymore. Like, I knew Ted was a little bit ill. I did not know he would end up passing away the next year. Or Angel, Walker. I didn't know those things. So we just went into the interviews with a great spirit, and everybody was so on board. And I've got to tell you, all the interviews, everybody was so into it and so good. We could have made 9 of this film. There is so much stuff. Like, if we have an interview, an hour and a half of John Waters talking, it's an hour and a half of brilliance that we could have used. But it's like, you only have so many minutes in a film, so.
We still can, part 2.
Right.
Oh, and 3.
Who was your crew on this?
Skeleton crew, smaller than the crew of Faster Pussycat Kill Kill. The DP, David Diano, who shot most of the film, unfortunately died a year and a half ago. David was brilliant. David shot both my previous films. David was like someone I met on a movie set years ago. At one time was president of the Hollywood Camera Operators Guild. David was just one of the most respected cameramen in the industry. And I was used to joke how funny he get dragged into doing these exploitation movies with me. But he enjoyed it, I think, or he wouldn't have done it. So there was David. Johnny Cornwell, my brilliant musician, who's in the band Dig and in Teen Machine with me, did most of the audio. Tom Stratton, one of our Kickstarter backers, has been an incredibly valuable crew member. There are other camera people, Joe Segura, Daryl Orange, both friends of mine. Scott Walker did our sound for John Waters in San Francisco. It was not a big crew, and not everybody worked everything, but everybody was really into it, so that helps.
What are you doing because obviously this process is taking a decade more. What else are you doing? What's your other jobs while you're trying to put this whole thing together?
I'm in the Editors Guild, so I would edit all day and then edit all night and then edit all weekend. I haven't slept much in 5 years, but I'm not ready to start catching up on sleep yet, but soon.
I remember, Susie, when you sent out the original Kickstarter for this, but I don't remember what year that was, because this has been going on for a while.
Was it 2014?
No, it was not 2014.
Okay.
2017.
Okay, I was close, but the 7 I missed. Wow. Oh my God.
We just did a show in San Francisco. The film screened Wednesday. The kickoff event was in San Francisco at the Alamo Drafthouse for a weird Wednesday screening of Faster Pussycat Kill Kill. And that was amazing. The Drafthouse let me pitch the documentary. And that night, like, San Francisco came in with so many pledges. It's like, wow, that like really just started the film on the right foot. So last week, when we went back to San Francisco, I've got to say it was incredibly gratifying to be able to say, hey, look, you helped pay for this film. Here's the film at the same theater, same audience, basically. And it was just really wonderful. And just, I was so grateful. I'm still so grateful to all those people, because it's like they've just, and people like yourself who just like stuck with it.
Yeah, I was talking a little bit to Susan before you got on, and just how awesome Peaches Christ is. And just that must have been so nice to come back home to that.
He was a huge Tura fan, and he was doing his Midnight Mass show. And he called Tura, and her husband said no. And then he called me, and I said, oh, yeah, we'll be there. That happened. We all met, and he did Midnight Madness with Tura Idol Worship, and it was Tura Satana. It was a huge, big deal. And then we just did another show, but he originally started this craziness of his show, Midnight Mass, in San Francisco. So that crowd stuck with us through the Kickstarter and through this. And so having Peaches, and we wanted it to be kind of a memorial for her life, a celebration of her life, because we never did a memorial for her after she passed. And so this was kind of like the perfect event, the perfect place, and of course, Peaches. It just did a full circle, and we were all so emotional. It was something. It was probably the best event that we've had for this.
Well, when was your premiere for this?
There was an unofficial premiere, which was the San Diego Asian Film Festival last November. But that was a festival premiere. That was the first time the film publicly screened. Once it became a theatrical release, that actually happened on August 8th. We premiered at the Music Hall Theater in Beverly Hills, where it stayed for 5 weeks, which is bloody incredible. I mean, I looked at the list. There's only like 75 documentaries that even got theatrical releases this year. And it's so grateful to be part of that. It's amazing.
I always have to ask this of folks, and I know that it's an unfair question just because, like I said, making any film is very difficult. But what was the toughest part of this for you guys?
Aside from, kind of making sure, because we always knew we wanted it to be like a very cinematic film and wanted it to be Tura's feelings and Tura's words and that kind of power. So shifting into that took a little bit of time. But also when you're making any indie film, like no one's throwing bricks of money into your lap, So it's like, we, before the Kickstarter, we had, whatever stuff we had completed on the documentary first, we did out of pocket, we just did out of our own pockets, and then the Kickstarter helped finish it. So, I mean, money is definitely an issue because not having money makes you be creative, but having a little bit of money lets you not stress things as badly. But
that's a good one. That, and I think the loss of so many people through the journey, because each loss was like, what? And having to recover from that and realizing, it just kept happening, not only in our personal lives, but with our cast. Yeah, there is so much, but mostly it was just like this great fun project. And, that there were bumps, but it was basically the spirits were all there. Everybody had high spirits for this. And everybody that joined in after, like Dita and all the other people, they were like, yeah, let's go. Let's do this. So it kept lifting the spirits. It was a joy.
Cody, what did you actually cut on?
3 different machines, actually. I have incredibly antiquated and dinosaur-esque, but I still use Final Cut 7 for some things just because I came up on that, and I have a couple really powerful Macs, and I have one totally dialed in for Final Cut 7, so I can just fly through certain things on that. I also use DaVinci Resolve quite a bit, and Avid Media Composer. Everything has their strengths, so whatever part I needed to do on whatever, and I think I ended up finishing in Resolve.
The film looks fantastic, and everything just has, it must have been such a challenge just to make a film over so many years, because I know equipment changes, codecs change, just it's always such a hassle to recon things that you shot probably in 2015, 2016, 2017, and then here we are in 2025, or I'm sure you finished this up earlier than that, but just, the equipment just kept changing.
That is true. While we're on tech talk, everything we shot was ProRes. So ProRes HQ or ProRes, that quality level has not really dissipated since when we started. And also there's a lot of actual film and 8mm film in the film, not just the home movies, but I also shoot black and white 8mm film, which kind of complements the other pictures and other elements of the film. As long as you do a really high quality capture on that, obviously film is timeless. Yeah.
So were there any people that were hesitant to talk to you guys about Tura?
I don't think hesitant. There were some people that just flat out said, no, I'm not interested in doing it. And then there were people that were very close to doing it. Martin Scorsese was this close to doing it. Yeah, it was that moment where like all the strikes were happening and all of a sudden the whole industry was down. And, there was a tiny window there where it could have happened. It didn't happen, but it could have. So, that would have been great, obviously.
How about for you, Siouxzan? What were some of your biggest wants for this?
I wanted Carol Burnett. And I said that at the show last Wednesday, and the audience was like, what? Huh? And Peaches was even like, what? But Carol Burnett and Tura did their first movie together, which was Who's Been Sleeping in My Bed, with Elizabeth Montgomery and Dean Martin and Carol Burnett. And Tura taught Carol how to dance, burlesque style. Life magazine or Look magazine did a huge article, like a 4-page article, and pictures of Tura and Carol. So she said it was right during COVID, and that because she's older, we just couldn't get to her. She wanted to do it, but we could not get to her. That and Paul Rubens, because he was ill and no one knew he was ill. And we had connections to Paul, but that didn't work. So those were the two that were bummer. But otherwise, I think we got everybody.
There's such a wealth of archive images and film clips and everything. Is that mostly from the daughters, or was there another rich vein of Tura material out there?
When I started working with Tura, when she said, I want you to be my manager, she said, I'll be sending some stuff to your house. And I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, no. Big boxes full of everything. She gave me her scripts, there was just photos and personal photos. And she would, every time she'd come visit, which was like twice a month, she would just come in her van and just hand me stuff. And it just got bigger and bigger. So I have most of it. And when she died, she left me her rights and everything, because the daughters really, they didn't want it and they trusted me, which is what means the most. So I had everything here with all the rights. I've got her writings, her book. I've got her costumes. I've got every script she's ever done with her writing and notes and personal pictures. And then one of the daughters sent us, she goes, I have some canisters here. I think it's film footage of moms. And she sent those down. So that's where we had all the home movies. So it was just, she just gave me everything. I think we had already known we were going to do this at some point, but thank God, I even have the Faster Pussycat script and her jeans and her glove. So yeah, she just gave me everything to sort of store. It's still stored. So yeah, we had everything we needed. We had the daughters, we had all of that. That was it. We're going to be, moving because we're in a condo, which is too small. So downstairs we have everything packed in. And the next house, I want to have a room where I can unpack everything and see exactly what we have. And yeah, I want to do almost like a traveling museum, but loan outs, and let's do an event and somebody can have her jeans and the thing there. Yeah, definitely. So many people want to see it.
I especially want to see those jeans.
Yeah, I just know they were Wrangler jeans, size 11/12. So that was out there in the drawer. I know it's something to see that stuff, because when she threw them at me, I was like, she goes, here. She would always do this. You might want this. She gave me this shirt somebody designed for her. She kept everything. Let me just say that much. Yes. And so I've still got boxes I haven't even unpacked, because when they arrived here, we just stacked them in this room downstairs. And I'm like, really want to get into that. And because of the film, me and my wife, who is associate producer on the film, we both work, and Cody, all three of us work 7 days a week on this. Day jobs, but I did graphic design and social media for companies and also website design. So I was still doing that. We were all working, and it'd be like a weekend. Let's go down and look at those boxes. And then we'd realize, oh, no, I don't think so. We can't get out of this in an hour. So that's going to be fun to have that downtime to look in there. Because I'm sure I'll find things and then I'll say, we need to do another movie. Look what we've got. Scary.
Fortunately, too, there was a lot of stuff that Tura had digitally archived. So between her scrapbooks, Siouxzan has everything her daughters had, those 8mm home movies, and Tura's digital stuff. We had quite a bit of material to the home movies. What was really incredible about those is I had previously interviewed Lonnie and Jade. We did those interviews not knowing that the home movies existed. Then when the 8mm films came in and I had them transferred and I saw what was on the film, I got chills, because everything that Lonnie and Jade had spoken about in the interviews was right there on the film. And it was it's still, I'm getting goosebumps right now just thinking about it. It still leaves me speechless. Besides it being like a movie gold mine to hit something like that, the material what they talk about is so personal and so moving and so emotional. Being able to see it as they speak about it was, again, still is incredible for me.
I remember you used to send me text messages. Oh my God, just that's all I have a whole string of these. And it's like, what? Wait. Oh my God. And then you'd send me little clips of it and I'd be like, that's amazing. How did that happen? Magic.
It really was.
Those two are really the heart of the film. To see how they grew up and to hear their stories, it's just, they're such remarkable ladies.
Absolutely. Yeah. And they were totally forthcoming. They didn't hold anything back. They didn't try to sugarcoat anything. They were just, and that's what we tried to do with the film, is not be exploitive, but also not candy coat anything. Just be very frank about everything and just very present about everybody's feelings, the things that happened to Tura, what Tura experienced, what she did with her life.
So the one question I can hear my listeners already screaming at the radio is, where can they see it? Is there a website to follow, social media, all that good stuff? Please lay it on me.
If you're in the United States, you can see Tura anytime. It is available for download on Apple or rental on Amazon, Fandango at Home, everywhere. So you can basically get Tura anywhere in the United States now. We're still going to be doing select theatrical engagements. Like at the end of this week, it plays Brisbane, not very helpful for us here. And I think we'll have, more theater showings, more movie theater showings, as it continues. And the official website for the film is turamovie.com. That's where you can find everything about Tura, Tura merchandise, Tura theater dates, updated news. And then the Instagram is official Tura Satana. And that's that's the thing, I update to Instagram and then they update to Instagram, I think first. Is it pretty much Instagram first?
Facebook, Instagram, and it's also turasatana.com is another place where you can find more stuff. And all our socials are at the bottom of that, as well as on Tura Movie. But Instagram is very active, as is Facebook. They're all good.
I am so glad to have finally been able to see this movie. I've been waiting for it for so long, and it lived up to all of my expectations. Siouxzan, we've been talking via email for I don't know how long. So it's so nice to finally meet you. And then Cody, it's great talking with you. I really appreciate this.
Thank you. No, it's great speaking with you too. And God, the nod to Ford Fairlane, forget it. That makes my day completely.
Man's room in the dead of night. So come on, Tura Satana, come on. So come on, Tura Satana. Deadly adventure in the Texas sun. Pussycat dance to the dog's back beat. Crack the whip, yeah, crack the whip. Demonstrate your supremacy. So come on, Tura Satana, come on. So come on, Tura Satana. Driving down the road, looking for a thrill. She can set you straight, and she surely will. So come on, Tura Satana, come on. So come on, Tura Satana. So come on, Tura Satana, come on. So come on, Tura Satana.